Hi guys, Steven here, back with another video. It's been a while, been a few months. There's been some stuff going on, some kind of just personal shit. It stopped me doing a video for a while, but this video, I'm gonna call it distractions. Um, with everything over here, certainly in the UK anyway, that you see on it's been on the news the past couple of weeks. And there's obviously the stuff with the banking crisis, with the Silicon Valley, um, a lot of turmoil in the financial markets right now. But then you also have all the shit going on with Gary Lineker, um, the Match of the Day host. And why I'm calling this video distractions is because I just think personally that this is just one giant distraction. Um, and the reason for this distraction, though, I think there's going to be there'll be there's a few reasons for it. Um, it's kind of interesting that this thing with Lineker tweeting about how the whole this you kind of policy that the Tories are having with the illegal migrants coming in and the rhetoric that's being used. Mostly I think he was really referring to it was the woman, I think Suella Braverman. But him saying that, comparing this to like the same kind of rhetoric that was used in Germany in the 1930s. Um, and to me, Lineker knows what he's doing when he tweets that. He knows exactly what he's doing. Um, you know, Obviously people that will come to Lineker's offense will say, no, he's not comparing it to Nazis. He's not comparing it to Hitler. He was just specifically saying, the rhetoric, the language that gets used when it comes to how the Tories are, well, they're claiming they're going to crack down on a lot of these people trying to enter the country, or enter the UK illegally, and they're comparing that language that was used in 1930s Germany. Um, where do you even start? First off, you can shit on the Tories for a lot of things, you know, and when you're in Scotland, it's very easy to just jump on the we hate Tory bandwagon. But let's take it at face value, right? That the Tories are really wanting to crack down on what's going on with all this people trying to enter the country illegally, and all the shit, because a lot of it is just it's not just people coming over here for a better life. There'll be some people in that case with refugees, and they're welcome, but then there is also the case of with human trafficking and all that stuff that goes on as well. But let's take it at face value, that that this is what Tories want. They're trying to crack down on these things. Comparing people like Braverman or whoever else, Rishi Sunak, all the other Tories right now, Dominic Raab, whoever else, trying to compare them to Hitler, because that's really what as I say, Lineker to me knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows when he says about 1930s Germany, immediately people are going to think. Immediately, majority of people immediately think the Nazis, Hitler. He knows this. He's not stupid, you know. Um, and I think he probably being very quite smart is what's helped them stay in a job for so long, in my personal opinion. I don't take any credit away from Lineker. He is very good at his job as a presenter. But he knew what he was doing. This to me, it's not. No one can really dispute this with me. I feel he knew what he was doing. But the thing is, this is the thing though. This is the thing that really gets me, annoys me, is that Lineker is always coming for the fucking Tories, right? He's always coming for the Tories. He's always criticising the Tories, right? So he's criticised, he criticised Matt Hancock in the past about going on "I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out Here." He criticised Matt Hancock when he resigned after it was exposed that he was cheating on his missus, with that Gina, whatever last name is, woman. But nothing was said. Nothing at all was said when all these leaks came out with all this stuff on WhatsApp. All these important decisions when it came to the lockdown was done in a little WhatsApp group. The little political social circle. All this stuff when we were locked indoors for about, you're talking on what, 12, 18 months with the lockdown, when it was really like quite fairly full on, and businesses being closed down, people, obviously mental health, people committing suicide, but all this shit was getting done. A lot of decisions were getting made in a WhatsApp group. It's ridiculous. Um, and Hancock, I mean, they're all just to me. I mean, all of them are pieces of trash, really. Um, and just I've got some stuff here. Looking at some of the stuff. This is, Evening Standard said the most excruciating leaked WhatsApp messages. That was probably, I mean, the stuff that they're posting. This is probably quite tame, really, because I think this is the paper that George Osborne's associated with. And then, you got George Osborne, who's kind of like saying to Hancock, no, this is not going well at all. He says, quote, no one thinks testing is going well. And he was maybe a little bit passive aggressive in his responses to Hancock. And this is another thing, something's wrong when Hancock makes George Osborne look good. It's just not good at all. But the thing is, these are just big major distractions going on right now, and I don't know if it's a whole, if this is all just calculated, this is all premeditated, that there's going to be one giant distraction, but nonetheless, it's one major distraction from all the stuff that's going on. With the stuff with Hancock, it was, there was advice there. If people are going into care homes, have proper testing. That was Chris Whitty's advice. He ignored that advice. Whitty is still another, he's still a psychopath in his own right as well. But this is the shit that's been going on. It was just one big joke to these people. You have Partygate. You had all that shit going on. And it was just one big joke. They were all laughing at us. And people still listen to the government. People out there still listen to the government. The people that will wear the masks, that will get fucking 5 booster, they'll still listen to the government. They'll still listen to them. There is one major giant distraction going on, I feel. But I also feel with Lineker, Lineker is, there's other stuff going on with Lineker as well, with a big tax bill. So he's allegedly a tax dodger. So there could be more things going on there, another distraction there. And it's just quite ridiculous, really, that Lineker is being portrayed as like a martyr for free speech. This is the thing that will make all the people on the left say to people on the right, "Oh, you guys say you're all about free speech, but now you're going for Lineker, a guy that's he's just tweeted what he this is just his opinion." But it's ridiculous, really. I mean, it is pathetic, and they all these virtue signaling, liberal types, they all are pretty disgusting in my opinion. Even like when seeing clips of the Oscars, and I think it was Jimmy Kimmel was hosting, when you see all those liberals there, and they're sitting there in the audience, and I don't think I would want to be around any of them. I don't care how rich they are or how famous they are. They all just are not a group of people I'd want to be around. I think Jim Carrey had it right a few years last year with the whole Will Smith Chris Rock thing. He said, Hollywood's not the cool club anymore. Hasn't been for 15 years. But this, I mean, okay, Lineker is not Hollywood, but he's still part of this elite liberal elite in the UK. And it's just quite pathetic, really, that this is what he's outraged about, trying to compare what the Tories are doing to crack down on the illegal the legal, with the economic migrants coming over illegally, And he's comparing that to 1930s Germany. You know, unreal. Um, and I just find him to be quite a real sanctimonious prick. You know, and I feel it's gotten worse as time's gone on. I mean, no doubt he's a really good presenter. You know, and being that he was a really good player, it really does help. You know, he really does add when it comes to his personality. That's what really makes the show work. But it's just now just too much because he's been at it for ages now. He's been at it trying to be critical of Brexit. I think even when there was a protest, the Formula One people coming onto the track, he was critical of that. And even the well-respected guy that does the F1, Martin Brundle, had to call them out on it, saying that that's very irresponsible to tweet something like that, supporting that, when, you know, these cars are going at 100, 120 miles an hour or whatever, even more, and someone could have run over someone, you know, someone could have been serious, something real serious could have happened there. So all this stuff, you just gotta be careful, you know, it's all just one major giant distraction. And Lineker, okay, whatever. Lineker's back now, but he lost his voice. You know, so some will be quite relieved he wasn't on the show. He wasn't on the show this afternoon. You had obviously more attractive Alex Scott instead. But you know, this idea that he's this martyr for free speech, no way. And going back to just what he's like as a person, Lineker is really just, to me, I mean, he comes off quite condescending, really, when I watch the Match of the Day show. He can come off kind of low-key, kind of condescending to some of the other presenters. The pundits. I've noticed that. When he tries to make a joke, it's not always that funny, because I don't think he's really naturally a funny person. He tries to make a joke about, in relation to the Ivan Toney betting thing. It's like, I can't even remember the joke, but something about, you'd bet your house on that, and I bet Ivan Toney did, or whatever. But, and again, you know, if we're going by his crowd and the woke mob, their standards, right? If we're going by those standards, would joking about somebody that maybe could potentially have a gambling problem, making a joke in relation to that, is that really like a good thing to joke about? You know, if we're going by their standards, I mean, no problem with the joke. I mean, that's a pretty tame joke, you know. That's nothing to like a comedian to joke about something like that. But this guy's no comedian, really. You know, he's a bit of a dick. But yeah, he's been a guy now that I used to initially kind of like Gary Lineker. I thought he seemed quite like one of the good guys, but as time's gone on, it's just got way worse with him. And, you know, and he's, as I say, I think goes back years ago that he would say, he would house refugees. I think a lot of people called him out on it. He didn't, heard nothing from him. I think Lily Allen was the same. And then there was also someone that he was going to be supposedly against, like, one of these refugees welcome things. Like, I don't know what you call it, like, out in the street or whatever. It wouldn't be exactly a protest, but a rally, whatever. You know, he was supposed to go to that one time. He didn't attend. So there's just a few sketchy things with this guy, and it's very disheartening that this guy that's up on his high horse about the Conservative Party all the bloody time, and then it was all there, boom, big news, the whole WhatsApp leaks with Matt Hancock, and he said not a fucking thing. Pathetic. And these are the people you're talking: Alan Shearer, Ian Wright, whoever else, Mark Chapman, Alex Scott, all these other people. They're like, hey, Gary's not going to be on Match of the Day. We're not coming on. And it's like, good grief, you know. I mean, some of them, you know, let's give credit where credit's due. If you're looking at it from the angle of, they're standing in solidarity with their mate, that was definitely what some of them did. But then you get the whole thing of all of a sudden commentators aren't doing it, the other reporters aren't doing it, the broadcasters, camera people aren't doing it, and I don't believe that. I don't believe all of a sudden all these people decided they're not going to show up to work just because Gary Lineker won't be wasn't on Match of the Day last week. There's just something awful fishy about that. Why maybe it all could have just been like, I don't know, coordinated, that this was gonna happen. I don't know, just something was just a little bit odd about that. That all of a sudden all these people aren't going to be at work. Maybe I could get Shearer and Wright not showing up, and maybe a couple others, but then from everybody else that they couldn't have a show. Just, I mean, really, if it was me in that position, let's say I'm a high up in the BBC, I would have just found someone young, a young up and comer presenter, a couple of maybe people that maybe are still current players as pundits, even if it just had to be one pundit, and do the show, and let it be known to the other people, hey, if this is it, you're not showing up to work, then that's it, you're done. Play hardball. But I mean, it is, as I say, to me, it is all one big distraction from the real shit that's been going on the past few years with COVID. With the lockdowns that they used to really take away our freedoms, and it fucked over people. It fucked over the business owners, and they were just all having one big little. It was just shits and giggles in the little WhatsApp group. They're all cowards, all of them. None of them have a moral center at all. And I guess karma, Hancock, Hancock in the end got caught out. He got caught kissing. I'm straight dissing. Like I said in my rap, it's all bullshit. You can find that on my channel. But, he got caught out. And, and they're probably all in the same kind of social circles. I mean, there's this whole thing that his bird is selling her like £7 million home to Gordon Ramsay. So I think they're all buddy, these people, these celebrities. And you've got bloody Carol Vorderman, who's always up on her high horse shitting on the Tories. She's all palais, laughing and joking with Hancock. And she can maybe say that, that was just all whatever, you don't know what was said, blah, blah, blah. But I can kind of tell from body language when people see each other, it seemed very friendly and all palais, oh, hey, great to see you kind of thing, And yeah, she's another one that's just kind of, and again, I'm not going to say she's bad as Lineker, but then they're all just up on their high horse, and maybe you can put it down to a lot of them just being in a celebrity bubble, but then I don't necessarily buy that. There's a lot of people that can come out of that bubble and really find the truth and get down that rabbit hole. It might not be easy at first, but anyone can do it. You got Russell Brand. And Russell Brand was with Katy Perry at one point, and I'm pretty confident that Katy Perry, from the very start, has been playing the game and was prepared to essentially sell her soul for success, fame, everything in the material world. She was prepared to do that. There's other people like that. There's going to be probably your Lady Gagas, people like Nicki Minaj, others. But he was a guy that got away from that, and he's doing a really good job of calling all the shit out, and calling the shit out when it comes to the thing with the lockdown, with Julian Assange, with all that shit. He's been doing a really good job, and I've heard people say it before. And this, whatever you call it, the truth-seeking community, freedom, lover, fight, whatever. But you hear people say, if only if it was like somebody like a Gary Lineker with their platform, if they were to speak out against the damage that these lockdowns have been doing. Because this was the thing that was kind of weird at lockdown. People were shitting on the Tories for how they dealt with it, but these were the same people that wanted the lockdown. You know what I mean? Sturgeon shitting on the Tories all the time. Always that little chess game of, oh, we've got to make the things, the restrictions to Scotland a little bit more, a little bit more restrictions here than there has to be in England. And it was just that bullshit game that went on. Because it can be easy just to jump on a Tories bandwagon, but what are you actually going to do? What are you actually going to do in the position that you're in to help people and get us the fuck out of the mess that we're in? Things haven't got better. they got Trump out, and whether there was the election was stolen or not, I don't know. And I think the whole thing about the election being stolen, he should have just let that shit go. But things haven't got better, you know. We know what's been going on with, Ukraine. Would have that happened with Trump? I don't think so. But all this shit, there's going to be all distractions. There's going to be a lot of people you'll find that let you down. I also find there can be a lot of what you call controlled opposition. I do find that a little bit with. I wanted to believe that GBUs is on the right on the side of the right side, so to speak. But you hear GBUs. I don't hear them talk a lot about the shit that Zelensky's been doing in Ukraine, with shutting down the churches, shutting down opposition parties. Nazis are in Ukraine, but I don't hear any of that being discussed on GBUs. I don't hear them talk a lot about the vaccine injured. Okay, they do talk a lot about how the lockdowns have been harmful to people in general, but you just have to watch. There could be a lot of people there that can let you down, and sometimes it can be that thing of, well, at least I've this person that I don't like, at least I know who my enemy is, though, as opposed to thinking someone's on your side, but they find out they're not really. Because they even have that with GBUs, and I think the Partygate with Boris, a lot of these people that are quite high up in GBUs trying to defend Boris, and it's like, come on, like, give that shit up. Boris is probably one of the worst at it, and he's a soldier for that system, for the elite. So don't go defending Boris like he's going to be there, fighting for their freedom. But the thing is, this is the thing. These are just distractions. So the Gary Lineker shit, that's the one thing. Don't react. A lot of people on the right are they will react. I mean, they call a lot of people on the right like the reactionaries, and it is true, But you've just got to remember, all the shit is a distraction, and a lot of it probably was all premeditated. It was going to be this big distraction. And because they want to get this shit away. All the shit with Hancock, they want all that shit gone. And then Hancock will probably go on some other fucking, celebrity show. He might go on Mr. and Mrs., with Vernon Kay, whoever the fuck does it. But, and this, as I say, controlled opposition. You do have to watch out. There is a lot of controlled opposition out there, and people say that about, they can say that about a lot of people, but you just really have to do your research and think for yourself. But there is obviously distractions. I saw that when the Brexit Party, with their popularity back in 2019, and then all of a sudden, days later, a few days later, all the Tories are coming out talking about how they used to do drugs when they were in the late teens, early 20s. All just to fucking distract you from how well the Brexit Party has done. It's quite pathetic, really. And Anne Widdecombe had even spoke about how when she was in the Tory Party, speaking about how she was going to do something about like a big campaign for like speaking out, being really against drugs. And then a few days later, all of her colleagues, come out, all of a sudden speak to the papers and talk to the papers and said about how they did drugs when they were younger. So more stabbing her in the back. So I backing up from what she says, that really I think backs up what I think anyway, is that a lot of this shit is just to distract us. So that's just the one thing. Just try your best not to fall for that. But yeah, those are my thoughts, guys. I'm going to try and be a bit more active, do a few more videos. I might have down the line a couple maybe songs that I'll upload. But yeah, I'm going to maybe be a little bit more active, maybe talking a little bit more about politics. Might do a couple more videos and talking in relation to like sports, maybe music, maybe even movies. We'll see how things go though. But that's it for now. Thanks, guys. Cheers.